$1.5 a year coming our way. Who is not getting that $1.5 million? Because I know it's not magic; it doesn't grow on trees. So somebody's losing for us to win. Who takes the loss?
So after the first, in the first 10 years, it is a combination of the school district and the county having their resources directed to the city. After the first 10 years, it is only the county who has resources continually directed to the city relative to the increment financing.
Okay, so the county programs and Miami Valley, the CTC, that's yes, no, we don't know.
So it depends on each particular district. In this particular district, I don't believe that the CTC is exempted, because at the time that the district was formed, the CTC was not considered. But for other districts, like for the newer ones, the CTC is considered, and their funds are not withheld. Their funds are reimbursed. I believe that's how this one is structured, but I don't know. But to be definitive, I would have to check with either with Mr. Fronsman.
Okay.
Mr. Bell, did you have something to add to that?
Yeah, I could just comment on that we are making payments to the local school district and the CTC each year in the Montgomery County Fair. Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, if you see in the notice letters, there actually is one also to the CTC.
Okay, and the reason I ask is just, I know that it's just impossible for everybody to get that money. Somebody's losing for others to gain, and in this instance, it sounds like county services, certain county services, maybe health and human services and things of that nature, schools for the first 10 years, and CTC, not really sure, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around who's not getting for us to get.
And
that's a very debatable topic in terms of that, because where there might be one, there's another. For instance, part of the county's revenue stream takes care of county engineering and street maintenance systems. So for an area like an urbanized township, like Butler Township, Washington Township, Harrison Township, etc., who has the advantage of having the county perform a lot of those functions for them, our taxpayers are paying for that as well. So, but then we have to, even though our taxpayers are paying that same amount, we're not getting that service. We're providing that service on top of it. So you would literally have to look at the percentage and the balances to answer, well, who's missing what? Fundamentally, really nobody is, and that's why legislatively it is perfectly legal and acceptable to instill a TIF if it was a great disadvantage and did create a burden on another political subdivision. Then I would assume that the General Assembly for all these years would not have allowed TIFs to continue to exist. So that's why there are provisions and rules that exempt certain things that are specified within the laws and ordinances. So the premise in the previous discussions within members of the community, internal and external, saying that we are robbing money from another political subdivision or a school is 100% incorrect. What we're doing is we're maximizing the ability of those tax dollars that are paid by our residents and applying those tax dollars directly within our community. Because, again, we are providing services that may or may not be provided by and through those other entities, when there's advantages in other areas of the county that aren't contributing anymore, but also don't have to have them those services themselves. So that, in essence, is one of the advantages of being a city, is that you get to take on and provide those services directly. But one of the disadvantages is that there's nobody else that's going to do it for you. We can look back at when we became a city, that I'm sure we don't need to, drag this meeting on any longer, that I'm sure Mr. Campbell and others could speak about, that all of a sudden overnight we're now responsible for all the roads. And that's quite an undertaking. So, that's just kind of an explanation and justification of how and why that law exists and why it continues to exist. It's not really robbing anybody of anything. It's a redistribution and a balance of keeping the investment from the localized taxpayers back into localized projects, maintenance, and upkeep.
Okay, thank you.